April 5th, 1994. The universe said, let's take Kurt Cobain from Jason. Let's do that. Then it said, let's make him wait like a long, long time. And then let's give him a Mario movie. And then let's kill Star Wars that day. No, I'm kidding. It's not that. It's not that heavy hand. I'm joking.
I
But
remember where I was when Cobain the news came out this day, because I like
it came out on it actually came out like on like the 8th. I think he really died on the 8th personally, but anyway,
but whenever it came out,
yeah,
right,
this
the
week,
day when the news came out, I was in art class. My art room was open. The art class I had in high school was open during lunch, and I think the teacher she might have had on the OJ trial at that time. I can't remember if it was at
No,
the time.
OJ was after. OJ was 95.
Okay, so it was after, but she had it open during lunches, and we were watching definitely Street Fighter. My buddy got a copy of the Street Fighter anime.
Yeah,
right, like in Japanese, no subtitles, and we were just watching it, like, oh, Street Fighter anime. This is finally something that looks like the animation come to life. And this kid came in, one of the grunge dudes, right? And we all wore flannel, but he was the grunge kid. And he comes in wide-eyed. I'm like, what's wrong? And he goes, Cobain died. And I'm like, and he was like, no, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I know, like, it really broke his heart. I was like, bad time for a joke. Bad time for a joke.
This like, Rob's like, is Stone Temple Pilots okay? God,
yeah. They were. Not for
they were never.
It all panned out one way or the other. No. Turns out out of all the grunge bands, the ones that did the best health wise was Pearl Jam. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Yeah. I honestly think they were the biggest, fakest sellouts of all time who actually became like legitimately sincere, which I appreciate. I mean, I don't think because you start bad, you're always bad. Like once you know what I mean, you're tainted forever. Because you see them on MTV, you watch like old clips of them. They're just playing the game and it's embarrassing, but they got cool. So I'll give them that. I'll say, you know what? People could change. Stone Gossard, you can change. But even though your name is Stone Gossard, you should literally be like hosting like a 60-minute show. But
it sounds like a Favreau Star Wars name.
So yeah. So really quickly, like so before we go there. Last night, stayed up all night. So this was a perfect storm of me not enjoying this episode. Like life did no favors to me enjoying it. Okay, because we went to the midnight screening of Mario last night, and I would say without we won't give spoilers because I know some of you want to see it. It's not really even a movie you could really spoil necessarily. But I thought that the low reviews of giving it like 4s and stuff. I think that was extremely hyperbolic and people taking themselves too seriously and just not understanding what the movie was. At the same time, it reminded me of probably how our parents felt when they took us to see Ninja Turtles. When the original Ninja Turtles movie came out, where it's like, it's good, but you could objectively see where it has some like it's a little bit like, it's a little rickety in these places, but it doesn't matter because overall it was fun. Right. So it's like, you let it go. You don't take it that seriously at that level. I saw people online being like, in my opinion, nuts, but this guy,
they're on Ant-Man high, Jason.
They're on Ant-Man high. All right. So I took you to see this movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie. What do you think?
I think it was really good.
Okay. Speak louder into the microphone. Okay.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. When we left, I think you said it was your favorite movie since Return of the Jedi. And then you amended it to saying Return of the Jedi was your favorite movie live action. This is your favorite animated movie. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, but Mario's overall better.
Mario's overall better than Return. And you're seeing that on a Star Wars show today?
You got Having not seen it, I agree.
Rob isn't the biggest Return of the Jedi fan, so he's like, you're making sense right now to me, dude. But
are there any Ewoks in Super Mario Brothers?
Are there any Ewoks in Super Mario Brothers?
I don't know.
No, there were no Ewoks. All right, so
Tanuki suits don't count.
Yeah, Tanuki suits don't count. Yeah, but I mean, every single time in that movie, you go like, "Oh, they could have done this." They're like, "Oh yeah, we know," and then they do it. So I saw Jack Black doing Bowser, and I was like, "Oh hey, it's Jack Black doing Bowser." And then I got home, and then it was Jack Black in my Star Wars, and I was like, "What are you doing, Jack Black? You were supposed to." you weren't supposed to hop along and come home with us. You were supposed to stay at the movie theater.
Did I tell you about the time I walked into Jack Black at Disneyland?
Good.
Yeah, I did. So I want to say it was 2014, maybe 2013, 2014, around there. But it was over at the Pixar Pier, right? Like
Yeah.
early in the morning, right around the park kind of first opens up, so it wasn't that busy. And I'm walking straight forward, and I just look right up in front of me, and he's trying to downplay he's Jack Black as much as possible, and his kid was super tiny at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I go, brutal legend.
I remember when this,
and he gave me the, and I'm like, confirm Jack Black. Who would know?
Right.
Brutal legend rocks.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, like when it comes to about the Mando episode in general, like when it comes to like Star Wars, I'm okay with like the kinds of stories where it goes out and it branches off and it goes insane. Like there were episodes in the Clone Wars like with an inspector, and it's like film noir and it's completely like comedic the whole time, but like it's playing into tropes. And it's just like, what if we added these CIS tropes and LA law tropes into Star Wars? What would it look like? And it was silly. Fans hated it. I had fun with it because it was in the animated show. There was shows where with the Great High Zoo, where the droids go and they go down this like little Alice in Wonderland adventure, R2 and 3PO, and it's full of eccentricities and it's crazy. But this episode literally starts like I felt like it was taking the hyperbole of a prequels review and actually making the hyperbole of how people reviewed the prequels into an episode. And like it literally starts with like the Quarren and Mon Call in love, and it's ham-fisted and stupid. But here's the whole thing though. While it's doing this, she literally stands up and her mouth is talking and there's no ADR going. Like it's like if you're gonna go ham and it's Star Wars, it needs to be A+ with the ham. That's what says we intend for this to be bad.
It worked for the Nemodians though, Jason.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
You can just do that.
It does
right?
work. The
yeah.
Nemodian stuff actually though is like he doesn't just stand up and stretch up and there's just nothing going. No, that does not happen.
That mouth is not.
I challenge you to find the shot and bring it to the show.
I have deep fake. I can make anything happen. Like, don't challenge me.
All right, Luigi. I don't want to keep you here all day. I think you're gonna get bored. What'd you think of the Mando episode?
It was shit.
Oh, he said it. He said it. He was not happy. He was pretty mad last night. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
No, that's it. He just said it shit. He walked away.
Oh no. Oh. No.
Yeah. There we go.
But it was made for them, Jason.
Yeah. When he asked me if he could say the bad word, I said, yeah, you can. For this one, you can say the S word. And
as long as he has permission.
Yeah. No, but that was like the whole thing is this episode. I mean, it did so many faux pas, and it's like, who was it for? This is my Mario hat game, by the way. But who was it for? Because like I said, I watched it with a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and myself, and I'm like, and for the record, I don't. You can't read me when I watch the show. He doesn't know what I'm thinking. I'm not saying what the hell was that, like as it's happening. I'm not influencing him. He literally goes, "This show is boring now." That's what he said during the show, and I was like, "Yeah."
Well, I want to move away from what everyone else is going to talk about, which is actors and types of stories being told in Star Wars. I'm not interested in any of that. I think anything can be told in any. A Batman can have a Star Trek episode. A Star Trek can have a Batman episode. It's about execution. And the thing I would say that I've seen from Favreau, him do more often since the second season is, and especially this season, is he writes a lot of exposition. And it really reminded me in this episode of like, I used to play a lot of the West End Star Wars role-playing game, right? Back in the day. And every now and then, someone would be running a campaign where they would read the technical journals like it was a character. Like they would use it like an NPC when they wanted to get something across, and and I'm like, this reads like he's reading a whole description of something over and over again about democracy and the way the separatism were, blah, blah. So it's all there, but it's there, Rob. It's there. It's there. We put it in the thing. It's there. It's there for all time. Now it's finally clear and everyone cares. Like it's not,
Yeah.
it's not how you get those points across. Like, yeah, you put it there. Yes, it was covered. Much like in this episode, the Darksaber was there, but it's not a nagging point with the characters. It's not something we're feeling. It's just there. It's covered. It's on, the bases are covered. So we can bring it out at the end and say, look, it all makes sense now. Like, yeah, but
Well, okay.
there's like 10 other ways you could have done this that don't involve, you can't have a character like, if you have a bunch of bad guys, perceived bad guys, not bad guys, people you're trying to convince to come to your side, and they go, we don't like this crazy dude with the mask because he's in a cult. But the crazy dude in the mask then says, yeah, but trust me, she won this in a fight I didn't have with her. Then, oh yeah, we believe him. Like that's just, there's other ways to do this. And I just feel like
So, yeah.
we're in a, it just, this episode wouldn't shut up. Like, and I had to take 2 breaks I had to take a break, and I even texted you. I'm like, I gotta take a break. And I came back. I took a break. The first break was at the red button scene. Cause I'm like, I literally just spilt my coffee, right? Talking to you. It's ridiculous. You got a giant red button right by your elbow.
Yeah.
And that might shut down the entire planet's economy.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
It's hilarious.
But it's so like that's my whole thing is but I mean in all like seriousness though, as someone who is like following Jon Favreau's story as he's writing it, taking it seriously, paying close attention and caring what you actually do and looking at the nuances of what you do, you set up these rules that these hard ass people follow as if, because it's religion. You literally keep saying it. And when they go into the cave and Mando loses to the monster and then Bo-Katan saves him and then takes the saber, I'm like, there we go. The saber's hers. And then you just go, no, we're just not going to do this now. And we're going to fool you by making you wait 3 episodes. That's actually insulting to, that's not clever. That's not like fucking, teasing me and then showing me. It's like, it's just sort of annoying and just kind of frustrating, like kind of stupid actually. And it's because you had this other idea and you knew that you needed to put it after the cult kind of coming together. So why not just have had that happen and then gave them something else to do? Like you said, there was other ways of doing
there's a scene,
what they did.
There's a scene in the beginning of the episode when they're on the planet and then the planet slave controls her ship or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and I felt like that's
being
what
whatever you want to call it.
I felt that was the hand of Favreau just detouring us off the story. Like now we're a slave, got to go over here now, no choice.
Yeah, I mean, while I do deal into like to get into like the minutia and sift articles, I am that guy. I actually even had a problem with that stuff,
right?
Because like when they start tractor beaming your thing, you're just like, well, this is life. And that's not really who these people have been like for the last, it's not how they were introduced. I felt like that was just really like trying to write the scene easy. And you didn't even need to do it. You didn't even have to do it. But then you decided you were doing it and you did it. Please stop hitting the desk, son. Thank you. So it's like, yeah, I don't understand like why we got Book of Boba Fett all of a sudden in this episode. And
you got Jan. No, I believe we're seeing the real look. How do I say this? I don't want to say the real Favreau. There's shades to everyone's writing and creativity, but Favreau started this series off on like a lone wolf and cub quest. Very Rocky. The Mando theme is the Rocky theme when he's literally fighting Apollo Creed. It's the Rocky theme. So
yeah,
it's very one man in a world in which no one likes him. You know what I mean? But maybe he's going to come out on top somehow. And that quest was over with the Grogu thing. And to the point where like Favreau even it could be him hyperbole or showboating or politicking. But like he said, we don't really know where the show's going. It can go anywhere. I'm telling you, he has no clue where any of this is going. Now he's quote unquote world building, and it's
I know where it's going. Like that's
but who
that's
cares?
the no,
Like
but no,
so far,
and
who cares?
and right no, and right now, if you don't follow spoilers, I don't know why you would care.
Right.
And I don't.
It's esoteric. Is that the right word I'm using? 'Cause I'm not good with big syllables.
Mhm.
What am I trying to say? I'm a small syllable guy, as we all know. My name's one syllable, Rob.
Man of the
So
people.
when they start speaking about, like, if you're going to speak about democracy and separatists and you know, deep philosophical stuff, and then keep cramming it through a funny voice, you know what I mean? 5 times in an episode, man, you really, how are you supposed to make anyone care about this stuff? And that's always been my point. It's like, you can do politics.
I feel like good Star Wars does it though. That for me it does. And
yeah, Andor did it brilliantly, and I would say Bloodlines did it really well. And
okay,
the book,
but let's also like
I thought Zahn did a good job of it back in the day on the air.
But here's the thing: Star Wars though isn't Andor or Phantom Menace. Star Wars is from Phantom Menace to Andor.
I just named you a distance of 20 years.
No, I'm talking about.
There's
about
no
tone.
politics in the original trilogy.
I'm talking about tone and politics though, and like. But what I'm trying to say is that this could have done all of that in this silly way, and it could have been palatable. But why would you go? And it needs to be said because you kind of skipped over it, which is fine. But it's I don't care if you put Jack Black in it, but fine. It's a little bit fucking like he's really known. I don't appreciate when I know somebody from more things than Star Wars. I don't really like that very much unless it's like Christopher Lee. You know what I mean? And
my uncle's
even
knew Tarkin from Hammer Baskervilles. He was Sherlock Holmes too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even I know him from all the Hammer films. I watched him on Channel 5 as a kid all the time. So like by the time I had A New Hope on video, I was like, oh, I know who he is, you know. Even I kind of had that because he's not really memorable when you first see A New Hope and you're a child. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is if you're gonna go for the eccentric funny cameo, a couple things here. You don't do Lizzo. And by the way, thank you for the super chat. Let's not kind of fat shame her though. It's kind of fucked up, dude. But thank you for the support of the show, Revenge of the Six.
Ridiculous.
You don't do Lizzo and Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd. It's just like it was fucking too much.
Politics.
And then
doing politics. Right?
And then yeah, kind of. I mean, in terms
Stilted,
of like
one-dimensional politics. How about that?
No, I mean, like it's sort of like it kind of does it. It doesn't go too deep. I mean, it's pretty brief, I think, overall. But it does like it's like more like it's the couple who has a problem. But the problem was doing two couples who have problems with two sets of Mando back to back. It was too much.
But what's the subtext, Jason? Because in what they're actually saying in that episode is, I'm like, what is Favreau getting at? Like, what if Star Wars is supposed to always have a moral?
Yeah.
The morals I've learned from this season are cults are good, and people are lazy. They just want to make art. They just want to be artists. So we got droids to do all the work for them. Like, I'm trying to figure out what Favreau's getting at. You know, like, does he have imposter syndrome? Like is he shaming his luxurious life of playing with Star Wars toys? You know, while I don't understand what is the subtext, what is the meaning behind the things they are saying. I get real frustrated with Star Wars fans when they tell me, but Rob, they said something. Yeah, but what were they meaning? There has to be a meaning behind it. They can't just say things. You know, for like that's shallow. That's the shallow end.
When it first started, I thought we were going into like a Logan's Run kind of thing, and I was like, okay, you know, at first. But
Morlocks,
like, no, we're not.
Yes. Right. With the
hi, Max.
And the
Max. Oh no, we waited too long, and Max has now frozen stone cold as she looks into the eyes.
No, she's in carbonite.
She's back. Carbonite. Max, are you back?
She's not back.
Oh no.
The Uggs and the Ugg knots was the joke I was making to myself.
Okay. Look, this is a real Mando fan. Okay, in case anybody's wondering, you made the real Mando fan. He did it though.
He convinced his dad to spend $200 on Legos. He is a Mando fan.
He is he's a shyster.
I could not even get my dad to do that. So he's a pro.
I didn't have to help him. I don't think I had to help him one time on that one either. I think you did that one all on your own, didn't you? Good job, man. Little engineer. But maybe Max will come back. I don't know. But anyways, what I was gonna say was yeah. So it's like if you want to go on Twitter and you want to defend one thing at a time just by itself, that's fine. But it's not about that. There's nothing wrong with sugar. Nothing wrong with flour. There's nothing wrong with frosting. Like all of these different things are fine. But it's a bad cake, and it was poorly directed. And how was it poorly directed? Because it did not get one adequate performance out of almost any of the actors. And there was points where it was purposely bad, where they were acting like they were on CIS or CSI and CIS. See, I do too much Star Wars, Confederacy of Independent Systems, not crime scene investigation. Okay, but anyways, though, like the
white male.
Luke, you gotta stop shaking the table, dude. It shakes the camera. But anyways, it's like, yeah, it was just like too much. It was like too much, like just stupid. And then and like with Star Wars, like I said, like it's good when it's like B grade and ham-fisted A quality. And ILM does a great job. The volume,
yeah, visual effects
looks great. Like I'm not shit talking. I mean,
I want to say the best. I thought one of the best effects they did was when they were in the tube and it's moving left and right, forward and backward. The visual effects and the light was also like it was a really great compositing.
The light kind of started to give me a headache on the repeat.
I was wondering if the light was gonna. I was wondering why they didn't put a strobe effect warning before the episode 2, by the way. But they did a good job with that, like the way the tube, when they cut to Mando, they cut to Bo, and the way the tube's moving, like and it slows and gets faster, like all that stuff is really good. Like
Maxine Waters, is that you?
Yeah.
Hi, Max.
Hey, I'm not putting up with this fucking shit right now with the
you don't have
my connection.
Mando.
Oh right? No, communications disruption can mean only one thing:
invasion,
confusion. What was that episode? No,
exposition.
So Max texted me. I said, Max, I didn't enjoy it. Just a heads up. I don't want to make Max come and listen to two babies cry about it for all day if she wasn't up for it, So I kind of gave her the heads
Finally,
up.
we saved her from that. Like.
But Max, and then Max, I think you said, what'd you say to me, Max? Oh, interesting. Yeah, Max, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work today. It's not looking good.
Yeah.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. But anyways, yeah, Max said I liked parts of it. That was what she said, and that's what she's probably saying right now. But
you can't hear me?
Really, barely. It's going. It's your bandwidth, your internet is just cutting out, I think.
No, this is my phone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but yeah. So go on. Try and relay what your thoughts are if you can.
Can you hear me first?
Yeah. That's why I'm throwing it to you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Try it. Give it a whirl.
It wasn't. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't my favorite. It was kind of weird. Yeah. But I liked the ending. And I was like, I don't know if you got my text last night.
I was watching Mario last night, so I probably didn't.
No, I just said it's Lizzo. I was like, is that Lizzo? It's Lizzo.
Yeah. A friend of mine. I don't know. A friend of mine told me about Lizzo. And there's another one coming from on a different show. Another
with her?
No, not with Lizzo, but with another same kind of thing. And on that one right there, I was just like, yeah, I was like, we didn't know what it would be. Like, is she just going to be in the background? Is she like in a Mandalorian helmet? And you're just like, you don't even know. Like, is it a big part? But it was pretty significant.
Yeah,
Sucked gave us a $4.99 super chat and said, and thank you, Sucked. With 8 episodes only, I wish we got Gideon on the Menace or about the other Mando crew instead of Lizzo playing with Grogu because she's a fan. And I think that is a highly accurate criticism, where when we get up into the very tail end of the show where it should all be coming into a head, it's not the one where you go, and here's the one where we really let our hair down and fuck around. Like, it's not that. That's not when you do it. Like this kind of episode is like episode 4 or something, you know, if you're gonna do it.
Or she'd be an excellent guest on the Muppet Show, right? Like where
Mhm.
Grogu comes on as a guest appearance and it's all fun. But like it does feel like your friends really want to be on the show and we gave them the things to play around with and we're all there and we're having a good time. So whatever. It just I've said this before about certain episodes, specifically the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm gonna reiterate it here. You can like it. I'm not gonna tell anyone not to like something. Can't tell me.
No, of course
But
not.
my advice to them is if you continue to go down this path, you're not going to gain your subscribers on your Disney Plus. You're going to lose the water cooler conversation. You do it at your own peril. Doesn't mean the end of Star Wars. I've already thrown away my toys and then I brought them back. Something will always come down the pike, but this is not the way. Like this, I didn't mean to say that, but like this is not the way forward. Maverick is your action figure-y Star Wars kind of like tone that Mando would fit good into. Something fun, it's iconic. It's got a trench run, it's got something to say, but it's not too heavy. Fine, but this sort of thing, it's like if he's gonna do this, you need more time and you need better writers who can execute the idea.
I would love
Favreau can't do this.
Yeah, I would love to interview Jon Favreau and like actually interview him, not one of those like let me lick your balls and play with your butthole a little bit and suck it a little bit, like one of those real interviews where you're like, hey, what was your thought process? Because why did you bring Grogu back to Din in Book of Boba Fett to then tell this story where Din's barely kind of like actually prevalent in it and really doesn't need Grogu whatsoever. Like Grogu has not been an important part of this story at all. It almost feels, and this is conspiratorial and probably not true, but it almost feels like he storied it without Grogu, and then they said you're putting Grogu back with him. And he is like, I don't think that's what happened, but that's almost what it seems like, because it doesn't make creative sense to me. But
right. Yeah, I'm dumbfounded in many ways. And look, I've said before, this show's called Making Star Wars. It's not called Reviewing Star Wars. So when we're not reviewing an episode to give it a Metacritic score, we're just talking about what we saw as fans. The making of the stuff is where I'm the most interested. I would love to hear how Favreau came up with these stories, how he planned it out. What was the point? What was the subtext? What were the greater, more than just, well, we wanted to have these episodes and these pieces and move them around, and this would be kind of like, okay, if that, I don't know, man. I would love to hear him actually give a real conversation.
You want to know what the actual answer was, I think, to this episode, and nobody's going to like my answer, but I think it was the correct answer. The correct answer was to have Pele Moto have to go with her to that place, and then to have Pele Moto have been our foot into this world of the eccentric, with Bo-Katan juxtaposed against it. Instead, you had two straight-laced people pretending that they were in crime, in Law and Order or something, and it was like it just didn't really like ever play, like nothing ever played, and it didn't feel like it was the right, like in the right alchemy of characters to throw into the environment. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's so funny that we put these two characters in this wacky place. It actually just kind of played poorly. And then they sandwich it in with the actual Mandalorian like stuff with meeting up in El Dorado Park. And like, that's like the real, so then you even get a juxtaposition of what you wanted as opposed to what you got.
They could have just been hired. They could have just been, what if all this stuff of rebuilding the tribe could have been something that played over 3 seasons instead of like 2 episodes. She and him could just be like, they one without a helmet and one with a helmet are now working together, and they got like a little family with Grogu in a way. And this could have been a job they were doing to make ends meet, hired by Jack Black and Lizzo to protect them or something. And then some greater stuff goes down, and this guy named Hellgate is sort of behind it. And he's actually the guy behind the throne with eyes on the kingdom kind of. There's a way to do all this stuff that is just, you can't shove it all into one episode but before this or one episode before and tell an entire season's worth of stuff in like 2 scenes or 3 scenes.
Why do they
expect?
Why do they live in a dome if you can walk outside?
Correct. Correct.
So,
Correct.
It's architecture.
Star Wars Meg says Max is the cutest, and I won't fight with her about it. And Star Wars Meg also says, Jason, is this the best stream in the world, or is it just a tribute? You know, that's for you to decide,
song, right? It's Jack.
No, it's
Wonder Boy.
the Jack Black song. Yeah,
I know.
But,
I just kind of thought that like, oh, Grogu needed a babysitter, so he stayed with Lizzo.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, have a whole Mando clan where he should be learning how to be a Mando. He could be doing that as a B story with the clan learning about stuff, you know, actually, because he's not a Jedi, he's becoming a Mando now. But he's not doing any of that. Like, he's just Max, I wish I'm so glad I'm looking forward to Double Toasted reviewing the episode, because they're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be fun to watch. I can't wait.
But so Max, did you have fun watching it, or did it test your patience? I kind of like trying to fill out where you were with it, because you're a pretty easygoing person. You're like, you know, something has to really be crazy to piss you off, I think. But what was it? Yeah, what was your like? Where are you at in here, Max? Where it feels good or it doesn't? Right here.
I mean, it didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt your heart. Okay.
No, but I'm gonna say that both Jack Black and Lizzo like took me out of it. Like, I didn't look at them like characters. I looked at them like Jack Black and Lizzo. So I can't even call her her character name. I love Lizzo. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's like if you saw Madonna in as a character, and you're gonna look at her and say that's Madonna. It's not. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
like, I love Nirvana. Like I said out of the show, I don't want Dave Grohl showing up as the main character in an episode or as a huge character. It's going to be distracting to me. Yeah, I'm with you.
Remember when Madonna got like panned for her performance in Dick Tracy? And I'm like, she's acting pretty fantastic compared to this. Like, this is not an actress. She's a celebrity. So don't give her like 50 lines to read. She's got like a whole page. She's got a whole page of dialogue. Like this.
Yeah, that's what I was actually.
She says more.
I was surprised she had as much dialogue as she did.
She says more than Michael Biehn did in his own episode. All right.
Well, and like I don't actually, I'm not familiar with Lizzo. Like I'm familiar with her as a celebrity, but I don't like know her music or whatever. Like I don't know anything about her. Like really, and she seems like you could tell like she seems like a sweet, nice person. Yeah. Like you could just like tell by like her attitude, she seems like she'd just be cool to like hang out with, but she is not a good actor at all. And Bryce Dallas Howard did not get it out of her. Right. Bryce Dallas Howard did not bring it up, did not elevate her whatsoever. So that I think that's a failure on Lizzo. Might want to chill on the acting a little bit, unless you're going to do sitcoms. And Bryce Dallas Howard, as an actor, like, how did you think that was going to? I mean, as a director, but as an actor who directs, how did you like let that fucking fall like that bad? Because it just felt like there was absolutely no support for what she was doing. And like Jack Black too, I'm going to go with the opposite end of him. Is that like he's a very energetic, like, energy filled fucking like performer.
Right.
But it was at 10 the whole time. And if it's at 10 the whole time, then everything's just mid. You know what I mean? Right. He needed to be toned down. And like realistically, if you were going to do either one of those things, you could have done the Lizzo thing, and she should have just been like the Padme of the episode. And if you're going to do the Jack Black, he needed a serious mate who's like, this is my husband and he's an idiot. Like, you needed to have like this kind of like juxtaposition there to ground it in some kind of like thing. Because honestly, they came off as two fucking morons who there is no way in the world that and it's like, this was a cartoon. That was sort of the problem, is this became the cartoon Star Wars and not a live action Star Wars television show. So did not work for me at all, just to say the least. There was some really beautiful stuff, some good shots. There was like, I enjoyed the battle droid that kind of like going nuts. Like that stuff was fun. some of the droid bar stuff, like the dialogue was a bit, like I said, they were leaning into that genre, but it's like you can't have every single like moment that you do be a reference to like something else all the fucking time. Like just
or be a giant societal info dump. Because every 5 minutes, there's a new location explaining their entire society and the way it works for them and what they think politically in society and the way society works and how it should work and how it doesn't work. But society might work like this. And then they say, okay, well, who should we go talk to? You should go talk to this person. Okay, fetch quest. Go talk to this person. Here's how society works in here. And all we're doing. It's just like, what? I don't know what I'm supposed to like. And then like when he's like, here's when the droids started to kick up. And you're like, it's funny. It's kind of funny looking. Look, he's throwing trash. I don't know what I'm supposed to get from this. Like, if they were going crazy and murdering people, it'd be one thing. But then, I don't know. He's got a big red button. You're supposed to laugh. Like, well, it doesn't even have like a glass case over it. So I don't like. I mean, he's gonna fucking do this, right? Like one day, like me, he's gonna be like, oh shit, just killed the entire planet's economy. Like,
well, yeah. It's like what it needed is it needed to have like the serious rulers with this eccentric droid problem, or it needed to have comedic rulers with a fucking scary asteroid problem. And instead it was like everything was just like chaos, but I'm curious, like I said, if this is an episode in 5 years, I'm like, I got over it. I think it's great. I don't think so, but I'm like, because this is so weird and so off for me that I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, am I ever going to get this? Or is there actually absolutely nothing to get? And,
well, remember when we were talking, people were like wondering who Christopher Lloyd would play. And it was like, oh, it's going to be probably the Mando or Bo-Katan's dad. And I'm like, it's probably going to be something real stupid. Like it's just, it's never as it's just the way they work. Like I've seen this company, regardless of who's in charge, take an actor who you think could do some great stuff with Star Wars, whether it's JJ or George Lucas or whomever. And then you're like, that's what they did with them. And then there's a whole reason why. Well, we couldn't because of this and that. I've always just heard this excuse. Well, we couldn't use the Raid guys because, okay, but we couldn't use Sam Jackson because that's not who the character was. All right, but you got Sam Jackson. Why? When you got Sam Jackson who just comes off Jackie Brown and Pulp Fiction, and you give him nothing, he's just sitting in a room giving you the fucking Spock eyebrow. You're like, that's a waste of that man's talent. You're wasting all the opportunity. You only get one shot at this, man. Like, it's not, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Put him next to Ian McDermott, who can fucking act. Could you imagine if Sam Jackson with like that Tarantino like dialogue in a scene with Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
Like how that could have gone amazing. That would be one of those ones we're talking about to the day. So that's my frustration. Doesn't come with like, I don't like what Lucas is doing. It's not what I grew up with. No, it's when you have this brilliant stuff and then you're just like, yeah, but Rob, it's not that important. We don't think about it. You're thinking about it too hard. I get fans telling me that. I don't like it when the creators are telling me that, because your job as a creator is to elevate whatever material you're given.
Oh, like, yeah.
That's it.
If they ever say that, they should shut the fuck up. I mean, at that point, and actually like just defend their ideas with why they were doing it that way. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, I saw it, like no one was actually blaming me, thankfully, but I saw people on Reddit going like, well, I guess he wasn't the Mando chieftain. I guess that's all fake. And it's like, well, are you blaming me for that? But it's like, no, I never said that Christopher Lloyd was a man. Said that was the old crusty white guy. Then that news broke and we were like, does this stuff connect? We asked the question.
You said he was going to be in the series. You never said who.
But I never said
like the first time
was that role. Yeah, because I also said that my guy. They actually did decide to roast me today. Well, like I said, if you read the fucking articles, I never said that I never said that he was it. I said my sources didn't tell me it was Christopher Lloyd. Why wouldn't they tell me if it was Christopher Lloyd? That's actually like what I said. So,
right.
But whatever.
Yeah, and by the way, like, who cares even if Jason, name one fucking scooper in the history of anything who's ever been 100% right every time. George Lucas could fucking could not. George Lucas himself could come down and tell you, oh, we got this great scene with Padme, and it's a whole thing in the Attack of the Clones. She's got a whole subplot, right? Before the movie comes out. Movie comes out, it's not in there. Oh yeah, we cut it. Like George Lucas could spoil Attack of the Clones, and then when you go see Attack of the Clones, it's not in the movie. You understand what I mean? Like it just things change, right? Or things aren't what you think they are.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. But once again, I said there was a crusty old white guy. I didn't say
that's
that
exactly
was Christopher Lloyd. I did not say that. That's
right.
no, but in
I see what you mean. The Mando dude was a crusty old white
in
guy.
a Mandalorian, yeah. And I didn't say it was Christopher Lloyd. The Christopher Lloyd news comes out, and then we're like, is that who it was? And then they started people to know,
like. Also, in the first season,
I even on Santa, hold on. On Santa's show this week, I like literally say that on Santa's show this week before the episode came out. I was like very clear. I was like, I don't know that it's Christopher Lloyd. Like I literally said it on a show. But go ahead.
But in the first season of Mandalorian, we're getting Werner Herzog, right? And now we're at Jack Black and Lisa. I'm confused, all right? I'm confused. I think these characters would be great in a Muppet sketch. All right? And I mean, I love the Muppets. I don't fucking I worship but it's
Sesame Street.
cartoonish.
It's Muppets. You're
right.
On
Sesame Street, correct.
Yeah,
and Grogu showing up the whole bit. It works perfectly. This is if you want to turn the show into a show for kids, okay, just let everyone know we're doing that now, right? Just let everyone know.
No,
but
don't go and make a cartoon with like blue fuzzy bears for 3-year-olds and say this is for kids. What you need to like kind of. That's just not a. This isn't for everyone.
Response. That's what I'm trying to say. If they're trying to make something for everyone, they're not succeeding.
No, they're definitely not.
I am genuinely looking forward to Double Toasted reviewing this episode.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. But my thing is
genuinely looking forward to it.
The next episodes are probably going to be good. This is probably like one of those things where when they get into the next one, that's where they're like, this is why that one was there. So I imagine next week everyone will be happy, and then you'll see stupid posts like Star Wars is back, and like that's why it's
4 seasons already written. So 4 seasons already written though, Jason. If we're to believe Favreau. So I'm going to say we're getting more of this. This is coming. Whatever you got, you're getting more of it.
I don't know.
So
yeah, well, I
know, but I'll mark this day down.
No, let's look at it from the creative's perspective as best as we can with what we think we know. He has this Ahsoka series that has to come out, and thank you, Aria, for the super chat, the Donkey Kong money, 2020 Donkey Kong. It says this show will make Ahsoka look 50 times better. Yeah, probably. And that's the thing is the stuff that we hear about Ahsoka does sound right now 50 times better. So I don't disagree with you, but what I'm trying to say is there are really big things that I think need to happen in the other shows before this shit can move on. And I think that we might have a little bit of like water treading while they like make this plot work so that way they could get on with it. I think that might be the actual like log jam that we're feeling that's kind of shitty. Like, because we have to have this Thrawn story come. They're like, okay, well, in Mando we could set up some of we're not getting to do the other show. The other show got shelved. So Rangers of the New Republic got shelved. So we're going to take that stuff. We'll put it into Mando. It'll absorb those plots, and we'll like do more of a setup, and we'll put a lot of exposition about that stuff in there, so everyone will understand it because everyone watches Mando. I think that's like what's happened. And but now the Mandalorian itself as a series is suffering from having to do that, and I don't think it was like the best call. I think it would have been better to have the Mando walk off into the sunset for a little while, and then to have him come back and it be a big deal that Mando's back and he's here to help, as opposed to Mando's here. Like that fucking shot, dude. There's like one shot where they cut back to Mando when they're in El Dorado Park. And like they're like, you won't even fight him, and it cuts to him, and he's like all fucking slouchy looking in the shot. I'm like, what are you doing? No, it's like you're making them sound right now. I was like, yeah. But like I said, I think Bryce Dallas Howard has a lot of potential, but I also think that a lot of people have sucked their dick way too hard over the directing because of being in the right place in the right episode. Like, you look at that original Mando episode that she did with the ATST. The ATST is fucking cool, but look at all the stupid people. Look at all the fucking stupid, the way it looks, the way that shit is filmed. It wasn't
the diner scene in the tree, in the Ewok tree hut, is the worst scene in that whole season.
Yeah. So
With
it's
that waitress alone is a reason I was cringing at the time. Like, this is not good. Not good.
And it's like, just because somebody makes an episode that you like or you don't like, though, doesn't mean that they're the best or the worst. But it also means, like, let's not start going, give her a film. Like, that's what you see. And it's just like, I don't think we're there yet with her, personally. Like, and like, I was that way about, like, Deborah Chow when I saw her Mando work, and then I thought, oh, she's going to do Kenobi. That's going to be like the fucking best thing. It's going to be just fucking solid through and through. And it wasn't, because these things are sort of directed by a team.
Yeah, and they're showrunner, and the showrunner is Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
So I'm off and right now Favreau is in my, he's got to prove me otherwise. I'm not cynical, but I'm okay, let's see what you got today. Which John are we getting? Which John are we getting? We getting Iron Man 1 John, or are we getting, the guy who was developing the unmade Avengers script, which, if you should go read that was not good. You should be glad he didn't make that movie. So I'm confused.
Yeah.
Confused.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyways, yeah, Max, I feel like I'm not giving you enough chance to speak today. How's it going?
Pretty good. It's okay.
Okay.
We gotta get Max a Grogu, one of those Grogu things, so Max has Grogu. She'd be like,
I do have one.
It's here for the Grogu.
Meg says Max had some arguments today.
I do. Lots of arguments. But they have nothing to do with Force.
Man, we're losing you again. Every time I try to throw it to you, this internet, the little internet goblins divert the flow.
Her cell phone doesn't like it when she talks, Jason. It will only stream, but if you talk on your phone, it cuts you off.
It's like, no.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Just go ahead and try and say it.
I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my phone. Should be fine.
Max is going to start reviewing Verizon right now.
I'm not. I don't have Verizon.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
No, I have mad arguments today.
Okay.
Give me one that I really hate, then I don't know. Oh, it has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Yeah, we're losing you.
You're
Max.
on the wrong show. You're on the wrong show.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
All right, Max. Sorry it didn't work out today.
No, it's okay.
I wish we could add the blue filter, so when she cuts out, it just feels like we could keep it in theme, right? It could feel like a transmission interception or something.
No, I felt bad because every single time we were like, okay, Max, like go, and then she'd be like, can you hear me? And then she's like, yeah, we can hear you say that, and then we can't hear you say the other part. All right, so Sucks, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says Mando season 1 and season 3 are like night and day in terms of writing. Season 3 just doesn't feel solid like season 1 and season 2. And yeah, that's where, like, when I look at, like, I feel like the actual, like, story of Bo-Katan, the story that we're getting is, like, good, but the way that it's being, like, given is just so all over. And, like, I hoped that it was going to stay with Book of Boba Fett, like what that was. I was hoped that was like a very particular moment in time, filmed during a pandemic, kind of came out of nowhere. Like working with another director who was like a powerhouse in the industry, and maybe, you know what I mean?
Talking about the quality of story and
sorry about the quality of story and in execution. And like, and then like, yeah, where it's like, because Book of Boba Fett, you're just like, wow, this is fucking A+ Star Wars. And then you're like, wow, this is like a good C- right now. And it's like, and it's very inconsistent. And like, yeah, I'm starting to just right now to feel like, maybe with these Mandalorians and this idea, maybe he's kind of peaked with what he has to offer on it. There's nothing wrong with that because he brought some really good stuff, but I really wasn't enthusiastic about a Mandalorian story before. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I even really care. I got a lot of that in the Clone Wars. I'm kind of good. And we had it in Rebels. And I'm like, so I was like, back and forth on it. And then, but what we get in this, like what we've been getting as collective seasons right now, between the last 2 seasons of stuff he's done, just it's not really consistent. And that's what I need. I would prefer 6 episodes consistently told. I prefer less.
I just don't want. I'm personally out of the Jon Favreau writing an entire series.
Yeah.
He wants to write an episode, great. He wants to come up with an idea, great. This Star Wars is not one person, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not even
exactly.
George Lucas at this point. So
No.
like, this is a quality issue. We want Star Wars to be the thing everyone's talking about in the same way that they're going, oh my God, House of Dragons, House of Dragons, House of Dragons. This is House of Dragons isn't as good as Game of Thrones, and this is nowhere near House of Dragons. Put it that way. And this needs to rise up to. Now, I'm not talking about level of violence and incest and all that bullshit. I'm just talking about quality of world building, dealing with thematic or even like Knights of the Round Table type stuff, but set in space. You know, it's failing at that in its execution, not in the concepts. The concepts are interesting. The execution from writing is, I mean, this is one of those things where it's just like even the Ugnaught, like we got time to know that character. And even though it played out the way we thought it would, it kind of broke your heart. But in this episode, it's like, well, look, we fit 9 Ugnaughts in a shot. You know, we kind of made a goof out of what happened there. And it's like, there's another way to do this that doesn't involve like just filling up the frame with 9 Ugnaughts to, I don't know, like this. It's the problem. It's the complaints that I heard about Return of the Jedi. Like, this is more Muppets than it is Star Wars. There was a point to be said, you know, about that, you know.
But that's okay. But it needs to be. You need to go back. If you're going to do like the B grade thing, you need to do the B grade thing at an A+ like level. Like I said, like the opening is the best example, where you're doing something ham-fisted, but then you like literally have where the dialogue is just not. She is literally like her body is moving to what she's. It's not like it's just an actor standing still and like you could kind of tell like, oh, I noticed something, guys. It's like her body is literally moving. I noticed it the first time I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? And so yeah, they need to get their shit together. And Arya, thank you for the Donkey Kong 20. I appreciate it again. John peaked and Filoni continued with innovating. I don't.
We haven't seen Filoni's series. We don't know this.
We've seen Filoni do the cartoons.
Show me.
Well, and we got to be honest, like when Filoni was running a show, it was a lot like this right here, but it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
It was animated, and so you give it a little bit more leeway. There's a little bit like you do.
I didn't.
It's 20. Yeah, it's 22. It's 22 minutes. It's on Cartoon Network in 2009. Like you know what I mean? It's a little bit different than making The Mandalorian.
I got Full Metal. I can watch Adult Swim.
Cultural phenomenon is what they called it. So but anyways, I my hope right now though is that, like I said, like this is the one where like they kind of had to write to a point, and then they were like, we got to wait until Ahsoka drops. We got to wait, you know what I mean, until like all of these other things start to fall in place so that we can actually move forward. We can't actually go anywhere. We up to a point, and he's like, okay, well, I'm here. I'm going to explore. I'll have some fun. They're like, yeah, you have some fun. And then this is like what he did, which is just, you know, I do think the next 2 episodes though are because like those reports I did a while ago, most of that stuff leaked out of the finale shoots that I talked about. And that was the stuff that we were most excited about. So hopefully the next 2 episodes are really good. Excuse me. But anyways, yeah, Bespin, hey, how's it going, dude? Still can't believe Lizzo was real. Been trying to get that confirmed for weeks and just got laughed at. Maybe this was why. I think that is exactly why. I know. I remember when Bespin was talking about Lizzo, I did not pity him. I was like, well, if you get it confirmed, have fun with that one, because I don't know how that, you know, but it was also so crazy. I was like, we were hoping it would happen. And yeah.
I gotta tell you, the performance that really just, because I woke up this morning to people tagging me on Twitter. Maybe Rob's actually been right. I'm like, what now? And I don't know why, Jason. I didn't know anything about the episode. I just started replying with Doc Brown things because someone had posted, I don't know what the issue is. And in my head, it's the kids, Marty. It's not you, it's the kids. So I posted, it's the writing, Marty. It's the writing. I had no idea Christopher Lloyd was in this episode. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But I'm like, what could possibly set people off? And the minute that Moncal came in, I'm in love. I was like, no, no, I'm in love. I love you. I'm like, you can't. He first off, he should be speaking in their other language because they're only speaking the basic for the so-called Imperials or whatever, right? Like,
right.
Why would he be talking to them in base? He'd be speaking to her. They should be having the alien dialogue. I don't know. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like it's almost like you expect one of those. What was that guy? What was that Holmes guy who used to do those really obnoxious skits with like Christian Bale and the X-Men and shit? You know what I mean? Like he used to do those. It's like it plays like a skit someone's doing on late night television.
Yeah.
You know, like then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
yeah. I mean,
if you have credits, and we're like, okay, we know you're first. What are we doing here? We're in the 6th episode of the 3rd season. We know Mandalorians get hired for jobs. Like you don't need to. They wouldn't talk this way. Like,
yeah.
We.
Just in case you forgot, dummy. Right. Jon Favreau was like, yeah, the Star Wars fans, they're really stupid. They're kind of fucking stupid. So we gotta kind of remind them, you know. Like,
all right,
yeah.
man. We have anything else? I don't want to.
Yeah,
we already drove Dale away, right?
Let's talk
the 3rd season.
Let's talk about something else that won't ever happen. Star Wars Lando. This is from bestmanbulletin.com. Oh wait, yeah, am I on the right one? Okay. Donald Glover offers an update on Star Wars Lando still in talks with Kathleen Kennedy.
Hold on, I just want to say that's such a good shot.
Oh yeah.
By the way, that's there's a world where he's like in a Tombstone like thing, right? Because then that feels like Tombstone-y. You know what I mean? Like got the cape, like he's got a sidearm on him and shit. Like, yeah, it's just a good shot.
Yep, looks good. It's a good Lando. You could support Bespin on coffee. Give him some celebration money if you want. It's been 3 years since Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. It's been 3 years since Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced that a new series titled Lando was being developed for Disney Plus. The series, based on the popular Star Wars character Lando Calrissian, was announced without a release date or cast attached. But Kennedy did reveal that the project was being written by Dear White People's Justin Simeon. Since that day, news has been sparse on the Lando series, with Solo, a Star Wars story, Donald Glover seemingly revealing last year that he would be returning to the role. Donald played coy about whether or not he would be returning to Lando series when asked by Jimmy Kimmel, with Glover asking, "Am I?" before confirming he would, and went on to say that he's working on a ton of stuff at the moment. At the time, Glover was promoting the 3rd season of his hit series, Atlanta. It's a good show. You should watch it. And just wrapped filming its 4th and final season. Glover also signed a deal with Amazon Prime Video to develop multiple series and recently released his first effort on the streaming service Swarm.
Yeah.
And plans
first look deal.
And plans to release his 2nd series for the streamer, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, later this year. It appeared last year that Glover was very busy with other television commitments and was also open to returning to music. Kathleen Kennedy was pressed for an update on the series last year during Star Wars Celebration, with Kennedy revealing that there had been no movement on the series since its announcement, but not for lack of trying. Kennedy went on to say it's Donald Glover that holds all the cards, and that Lucasfilm were patiently waiting for him to come their way.
Sabak.
Yeah, at the time, Kennedy mentioned that Glover was busy with a television series, which became Swarm, and that he planned to shoot another shortly after, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, with the Lucasfilm president hoping he'll be free once those projects have concluded. However, since then, Glover has signed on to a Community movie, which is set to film this year, and signed on to star in Hypno Hustler, a movie focusing on a little-known Spider-Man villain.
I dare them to make the movie.
Yeah.
I dare Sony to try the spiderless Spider-Verse and see how it goes. Like Morbius was the first shot. It's not gonna go better than that. Like
it's Morbin time.
I love Donald, but this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah. Donald Glover seems to be just as busy as he was last year. And he's not the only one, as the writer of Lando's series signed on overall deal with Paramount in August of 2021 to develop multiple premium television series for the studio, likely for its streaming service, Paramount Plus, with his first task being a TV series reboot of Flashdance. Simmons' next directorial effort, Haunted Mansion, is slated to release in theaters this July. That brings us to...
That was originally a Disney Plus film that they elevated to theatrical release. Just
right.
Good, fun trailer, but yeah, it was definitely one thing that got elevated. Yeah.
That brings us to present day and covers all that's been publicly said regarding the Lando series. Donald Glover sat down with GQ when he was asked, this is the new stuff, about various roles he's played. Naturally the topic of playing Calrissian arose. When asked about possibly returning to the role of Lando, Glover said, I would love to play Lando again. It's a fun time to be him. It just has to be right. It just has to be the right way to do it. I'm all about, now, time is precious, and I think everybody's been like, the past couple of years with the pandemic shit, like, really had people experience time in a way where they're like, I should be around oranges. And like, please don't shake the desk. And kind of people like realize that time is valuable. You only get so much time. I'm not interested in doing anything that's going to be a waste of my time or just a paycheck. I'd rather just spend time with people that I enjoy. It just has to be the right thing, which it could be. Lando is somebody I'd like to hang out with. We're Donald and Lucasfilm talking about it, and that's all I can say without Kathleen Kennedy hunting me down. So it sounds to me like he's actually turned down a fucking a pilot. Personally, that's what I think.
A pilot or another project in which he wasn't central enough a role. Sometimes that.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically saying, I'm rich. I don't need the money. I've already played Lando, so I don't need the clout or the accolade to say I did it. So if I'm gonna do it, it needs to be fucking worth it. That's what he's saying. I respect it.
Right.
Glover seems very open to returning to a galaxy far, far away and reprising the role of Lando Calrissian. And it's a positive sign that he's still in communication with Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm regarding the project. However, his comments also feel somewhat reminiscent of what Damon Lindelof, the original writer of the untitled Star Wars movie, set to release in 2025. Lindelof said that if the film can't be great, it shouldn't exist before departing the project. The thought of Lindelof
finish that off with Toothy Sarlacc, Jason. You forgot.
The thought of Lindelof sort of echo in the comments of Glover, with Donald claiming that any project he does has to be right. One, he views his time as valuable and won't settle for just a paycheck. Personally, I've always been skeptical of the Lando project ever coming to fruition. Not because I don't want it to. I love Glover as Lando, and I've always wanted to see more of him. But just because the announcement felt sudden and not very far in development. Since then, there's been such minor updates and little progression on the project, it doesn't seem to have momentum behind it. I hope I'm wrong and the project gets developed. I hope we get an update at Star Wars Celebration on Friday, but I'm doubtful. As mentioned, Donald seems very open to a Lando return and discuss various roles he had done with GQ. Below, you can read another quote from Glover from his GQ interview where he discusses why he loves Calrissian and why he thinks fans do too. Lando, I guess, for some reason, people think is a real black person in space. I don't know why. I remember my dad showing me Star Wars and being like, yo, this is Lando. And he feels pulpy. You know, the whole Skywalker family. You can't really fuck with the canon, but you can have a pulpy kind of shitty Lando novel that feels like it's outside the Star Wars universe and still in it, which is why I think people like him. He's the most elastic of the characters because you don't know where he's from or who he is or whatever. There's only these little 3 books it's dope to play him. It's really fun.
His dad was reading the Lando books. You ever
Yeah.
read those?
Oh yeah, I remember
They are
those. Yeah,
pulpy. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah. So like, yeah, and I'm with I'm with me and Bespin. We were playing Fortnite and I'm like, hey, we were talking about it. I looked it up. I'm like, hey, he just talked about it. And I'm like, this is the quote. And I said, so want me to write the article for the show tomorrow? I'm like, please do. And so we're like talking about it. And I'm like, like it is kind of like, it's in a place where like, obviously a really good Lando project is important. It should happen. And Glover as it would be ideal, but also like, we run we run into the rock star problem that we have with Star Wars when you keep hiring and he is literally like a fucking rock star at the same time. Like, it's not even like verbally, like literally is like the equivalent of a rock star at the same time as he's doing all this other shit. And it's like, if you don't have time.
This Is America triggered Alex Jones. I fucking love it. It's my favorite song of the last 20 years. Like, how it inflamed white America. Just fucking brought. She should win all the fucking awards for that. Like,
but
yeah.
But point being, as much as I love him, as much as I want him to be Lando every fucking time, like if we keep getting rock stars to do these larger than life roles, they're never going to do the larger than life role. Like the thing where this is actually broken is if we can't get one Lando season out the fucking door, we definitely can't get a bunch of Lando if it's successful. We definitely like it's so for the actor, it's just going to become a money grab for him eventually, because that will be the only reason to keep doing it, is that they put too much money in front of him where he just has to do it. And so maybe we need to move into an undiscovered place with somebody with a young, talented black actor who hasn't had a break yet, who you fucking can tell has the chops, and fucking take it from there. Maybe you should spend 3 or 4 years always searching for this person until they exist, and then move forward once you found that magic person. And like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's the whole thing. Every time we get a rock star director, we can't get the fucking thing back. You know what I mean? And then and it's like, and then when we do get the rock stars, it's to patch over the fact that like, oh shit, there's no time, so we need this to sound good. And it's not good, but it sounded good. It sounded good. You got JJ back, but it wasn't good. You got JJ back. Stuff like that. This is like what frustrates me with Lucasfilm at the moment. And I'm going to give Jon Favreau a little bit of a break here. I don't think that all of the Star Wars fucking live action television things should rest on Jon Favreau's fucking back.
Right.
I think that's kind of fucked up that it went that way.
Oops,
now I'm hitting my desk. But yeah, it's like he should be delivering his flavor and just really well. And instead he's like doing the whole thing, and it's like, yeah, so they need to get more.
At least, how many episodes of Star Wars do you think he's written so far? Like, I mean, if you count Book of Boba Fett in season 3 alone, I mean, that's
16,
that's like
24,
16 hours,
30.
24 hours.
He's written 30 released, and then he's probably done another
20.
8 drafts of the 4th season. So we're talking like 38 episodes of Star Wars at this point.
So probably 20 to at least 30 hours of Star Wars he's single-handedly written. How much does one person have in them? Like you need a group. Lucas doesn't have 30. Imagine if Lucas wrote 30 Star Wars films.
Was this episode that we got last night? Was this Favreau getting bored?
This whole season's Favreau getting bored. Whole season. It's trying different things and trying to put something into and doing whatever. He said he doesn't know where the series is going. So like,
okay. Hold on.
And I know you're going to recontextualize.
This is like playing a fucking like court lawyer.
But there's
like,
truth when people say things. There is truth when they say stuff. I'm not saying it's the whole truth. I'm not saying he was saying that desperately. We don't know where we're going. He's not the fucking guy in the background airplane freaking out. All right. Like, I'm not saying that, but there is an element of truth. People verbalize things in the same way that when Lindelof said, I don't want to do it if it can't be great. Donald Glover says, I don't want to do it if it can't be great. There's a kernel of truth in there, and that whatever is being produced, whether it's what they're doing or what they're being offered or what the studio wants or whatever, there's somewhere in there where it's less than the expectation of what they want. And the reality is, and I think you were right, is that there was a point where they should have, where Favreau and them, they wrote, the series was done after Grogu either goes to Luke or comes back to Mando. You can pick which one you want, all right? That story is complete. So either that character has a new quest or that character rides off into the sunset and we get a new Mandalorian to follow. This so-so bit where we're trying to play all the dozens at once, all the little cards and little bits, and kind of like as long as we have Mando in frame, he can just be there. Everyone else is doing a thing, but as long as Mando's there, it still can be called the Mandalorian. Is horse trash. That's people see through it.
Well, and back to the Rockstar problem, it's actually the Mandalorian himself is as an actor right now is a fucking rock star. You know, Pedro Pascal
just
is
on
like
the biggest
all
series,
over
The Last of Us, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, no, he's on. Yeah, he's on fucking Mandalorian. He's on the Last of Us, and he's doing films, and he's a fucking meme lord right now. Everybody,
you know, Paddington,
and like, but once again, but we don't have him in the show. He's not really in the show. He's not really here, which is why we don't really have Mando. So it's like, yeah. They really need to start, like, you know, that fucking crafty shit they pulled in Florida where they fucking got those stupid fucking DeSantis idiots to fucking sign that over all the right. Yeah, we need you to start signing actors over forever that they can never do anything but Star Wars for the rest of their lives. The minute you say do it,
you're being hyperbolic, Jason. Now,
joking,
hold on, because people are going to quote you the way I quote Favreau, and they're going to be no, Rob, I didn't mean they should have to sign over their lives, like.
But I mean,
like a plantation, you know. Be careful, Jason.
No, but I mean, it's like realistically, like all of this shit of like making, you know, just to make these like these. I don't know. They don't. He's not bringing that much to it. No, but I mean, what I'm saying is he's not like Pedro Pascal's not bringing that much to the table in the series.
But they put a logo up at a convention and said we're making this. Is the problem? It's not that people are just willfully like trying to conjure this out of thin air. They said they were making it. They put a logo up. Said they were making it. Now everyone's like, what about that time you said you were making this? What's up? And it's a never ending. Like, Lucas, when are you going to do the Clone Wars? When are you going to do the Clone Wars? When are you going to do the Clone Wars? 20 years about that, right?
Right.
No one's asking Lucas when you're going to do the Clone Wars now. So, like, they won't shut up about it until they actually do it, like the Kenobi project. And unfortunately, we've seen how that can go. So
yeah, I don't think they'll. Before we move on, I don't think they'll ever cancel the Lando project because I think it stands to reason that a Lando project will happen. So you might as well just like keep it open and pretend like it's a thing because it will. You know, chances are happen eventually. Just never going to be the one that they announced. It's going to be a
Kanye's available. He can do Lando.
Oh no. Okay. What are you doing, Bespin?
People are like, what? The podcast people are like, what's Rob talking
about?
Bespin
Bulletin has an article on BespinBulletin.com. Marvel's Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier directed an episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and it's Jake Schreier with Kanye and Jude Law on the other side from Skeleton Crew.
What do you do? The Jude Law's like, what the fuck?
And I guess if you support Kanye, you can support Bespin Bulletin. No. Okay. So over the past few weeks, One Take News has been revealing a growing list of directors for the upcoming Star Wars series Skeleton Crew. In addition to the series co-creator John Watts, Spider-Man No Way Home, it's been reported that the Daniels, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and David Lowery, The Green Knight, have both directed episodes of the upcoming live-action Star Wars series. Now, One Take News are reporting that Jake Schreier, the man slated to direct Marvel Studios' The Thunderbolts, has helmed an episode of the series. Unlike the Daniels, David Lowery, and John Watts, Schreier's name is probably far less recognizable, and I assume many readers will be unfamiliar with his work. Most of Schreier's past work is television-based, working on the Little Dicky-led Dave, praying for a Dicky cameo in Skeleton Crew, Jim Carrey's Kidding, BJ Novak's The Premise, and Minx, which stars Jake Johnson. In addition to his TV work, Schreier has also directed a bevy of music videos for high-profile artists such as Kanye West, Follow God, Kendrick Lamar, We Cry Together, Halsey, Eastside, Haim, Want You Back, and Selena Gomez. I can't get
Oh,
enough.
stop.
Oh man, yeah. So Selena Gomez wrote that song about me, and I mean, I wish that wasn't out there, but it is.
I think she's fantastic in Only Murders in the Building, but I don't know any
Yeah.
of this material. So.
I mean, she's a good person. She's not a good girlfriend.
And to be fair,
mhm.
David, both David Fincher and Michael Bay were music video directors before they were
Oh yeah,
film directors. So not
Fucking-
knocking that. I just don't know.
without music video directors, you don't get fucking Highlander. As mentioned,
Hey,
Schreier
that's true.
is set to helm the Thunderbolts for Marvel Studios, but he has had experience directing a couple of movies in the past, including Paper Town, starring Cara Delevingne, and Robot and Frank. I think I saw that, which stars James Madison and Jeremy Strong. Personally, I'm familiar with all the music videos mentioned, as well as Kidding, Dave, and The Premise. And personally, I'm very pleased with his work as a director, with this episode of The Premise being a highlight, and I'm more than happy to see him aboard Skeleton Crew, joining a handful of very successful and talented directors. Schreier's latest project, the Stephen Yen-led Netflix series Beef, is slated to release tomorrow and currently boasts 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So if you're curious about his work, then perhaps check out that release over the weekend. As we learn more about Skeleton Crew and see much talented directors attached to the series, my excitement continues to grow for the Star Wars project. Skeleton Crew stars Jude Law, Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore, as a teacher. That's what you picked, you son of a bitch. You picked Fantastic. That's mean.
It's Gigolo Joe, bitch. All right,
Yeah.
get it right.
Okay.
Get it right. Get it right.
Anyways, as a teacher, like Marky Mark in The Happening, I'm a teacher. With the story focusing on a group of children lost in the galaxy trying to find their way back home. The series is inspired by 80s Amblin movies such as The Goonies and is set during the time period as the same time as The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. With creators of those series, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, on board Skeleton Crew as executive producers. Skeleton Crew is slated to release exclusively on Disney Plus later this year, and you can see the trailer for Schreier's latest directorial effort, Beef, below. And right here, you can watch some Beef if you want. And you can give Bespin a coffee and follow this podcast.
Man. Why are you doing
You
that?
want some beef?
It's not good for your heart, but I do.
But am I fucking up names? Sorry. I'm bad with names. I'm bad at it until I've heard them. I'm like, I don't know how this is said. But yeah, so I mean, the Skeleton Crew directors sound good. It's kind of weird because we heard about like Skeleton Crew for a time, like they were like, it's pretty hammy. People were like, not like they weren't, the crew wasn't really that into it, and they had a bad time and all that stuff, like we talked about. And then you hear these directors, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like, is it gonna be good though? Because it sounded really fucking good to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's really weird. Oh, and as the truth says, Amanda Stenberg put on Instagram, we'll be sharing more from the Acolyte very soon. So at Celebration this week, they're likely going to show us some Acolytes.
And then you find out it's like a Mint Mobile spot on the Acolyte or some shit.
Oh,
like
no.
It's not actually the Celebration. It's always you gotta be careful, Jason. Like we always just assume it's gonna be the thing that makes the most sense, and then they throw us a curveball. Like
yeah, with Acolyte filming and with like some stuff I've already gotten out, I think they may show up a little bit more. They may give us like a little bit more reason to care. It would be rad if it was a teaser. That would be like the coolest thing if there was a teaser for it. It's possible there could be a teaser.
the top knot comes into frame, bottom up.
Yeah,
top knot, Wookiee top knot.
But I could be wrong, but I would imagine if it is a teaser, that's going to be very, very like minute.
It ends with a picture of a scene of Bespin running, and they go, "You're not made for this."
He's like, "Yes, I am."
You're not made for this, Acolyte. Like they just worked the Acolyte in an ADR, right? You're not built for this.
We actually see Bespin, and they just like CGI'd some like Chewbacca fur on him. He's like a Wookiee now.
They gave him like a CJ top knot, like Undercover Brother has it CJ fro, like it wobbles. Like,
well,
yeah, like
like over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about El Dorado Park where they filmed that Mando episode. I was like, that's the planet I live on in real life. Fuck this. Because that's my planet. I could like literally go there. I could for 2 minutes. I was like, last night I was like, I wonder if I should go like charge up my phone, bring a phone battery, and go to the spot they filmed it and do the podcast from there tomorrow. And then I saw the episode. I was like, I'm not going outside. I'm not going outside for this, but I could have.
That's how I feel about most shit. I'm like, it's not worth it.
Star Wars Big says, remember when some fans were worried season 3 would have first order stuff? Instead, they got Lizzo and Jack Black SNL style. That's the best way of putting it. SNL style is the best. Snoke don't look too bad now, does he? Yeah, right. You're not wrong, man.
You're giving us a lot of options here, Meg. You know, giving us a lot of options.
Yeah.
Look, Batman survived Batman and Robin. Joel Schumacher's career survived Batman and Robin. The Phone Booth's a great film. But I hope John and them learn from what worked and doesn't work. But he doesn't seem to be a guy who iterates. That's all I gotta say. I haven't seen much iteration since the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
So, there's other projects being made, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
Man, I hope they turn it around and I'm wrong. I hope they turn it around and I'm wrong. But they can. I mean, look, Book of Boba Fett 6th episode was the one I was like, this is dope. So there's possible the best is yet to come. But
yeah. I mean, it's possible. Okay. So
what do you think would have to happen in these shows for like hardcore fans to reject it, Jason? Because I mean, when I see this stuff, if we had just dropped this episode on people like in the early 2000s, I don't think it would go so well, you know? But now we're like, oh, you know, just condition. It's like if people who grew up with Love and Thunder are going to tell everyone, that's what I grew up with. That was my Thor. That's what all the MCU should be that way. What are you talking about? It's always been this way. And then, you know, like what would have to happen in a Mandalorian series for people to go, this cannot stand.
Right.
Like we must change. What would have to happen?
So really quickly, let's just go back to this because you know, just to like set the record straight in case we need to. This is the article that I released.
Oh,
I said the season would be about the unification of Mandalore, and I said there's an old crusty light skinned man and an old crusty dark skinned man who are the leaders of oppositional Mandalorian forces that reluctantly come together. It sounds like Bo-Katan leads the Death Watch clan. However, these disparate clans come together this season. There are also like 15 or so child-sized Mandalorians fighting alongside their parents.
Yeah, you totally got that wrong.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm saying, like, like, right. I mean, you know, and so far we haven't seen the old crusty man and the two old crusty men. We haven't seen it.
Yeah,
right?
We saw a old crusty man, but not the old crusty man. Get it right.
The purification ceremony sometimes has been spent on filming a large ceremony. Most likely one of the caves best been mentioned, and there's a purification ceremony as best and both suspected. There were drums playing. Remember the drums? We've even seen the drums playing already in the series, which proves that was legit as well. And it definitely had a mood to it. The production had a giant pool constructed for those sequences. There was also a huge fire. There was a huge fire, sort of like an Olympic torch lighting ceremony as part of the ritual. So wait for that.
Can I give some context to this type of scoop, right? Or inside info. So when people scoop things and they're making shit up, they don't make up there was a Mandalorian pool with some fire and some drums were beating. They go, and this character teamed up with that one character to do this big thing with the character that I loved and we've all wanted to see that goes on a path with Luke Skywalker. They make up bullshit story things with all their favorite characters and cameos. That's when people make shit up. Real scoops are, man, there was a park and they were filming some shit in a pool, you know, there was some fire. Hard to make sense of it because it's hard to make sense of shit in a production where so much compositing goes on. You don't know what element you're getting that's going to be figured into something else. Like, that's a real scoop versus opposed to the bullshit that the zeros and the motherfuckers of the world make up, you know?
Like I was saying, like, did you guys know the Mythosaur was sleeping? Because I did. And here it is right here. Right. Apparently the Mythosaur was awoken in the finale. Now, the Mythosaur was awoken earlier on, but I still think it's going to play into the finale. I'm not sure if it happens before the ceremony or after. I'm thinking probably plays into the reason the clans are reunited in the prophecy the armorer conveyed in the Book of Boba Fett, which is also, that was some obviously speculation right there, but that's what happened. And you will see the living Mythosaur, which you did, and it chases everyone around and causes a bunch of trouble or something like that before it's brought under control. So that right there is where I think, this is why I think she's going to write it. now. I thought they were fighting it. I think she's going to fight the evil guys with it now. Praetorians, however, there's a cave with an Imperial door set, and this is where the red Praetorian guards are. One source called them Lobster Guards. This is the third confirmation of the elite guards from The Last Jedi being involved. The leak picture appears to be something less elite. I don't know. That's where I was like, yeah, but they think they were like actually the same thing in the end after I got the stuff I put out. So yeah,
Not
I've
for
heard
nothing though, Jason. It seems eerily familiar to the end of Book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett had to ride a Rancor that was running loose around town.
Yeah. Well, you
like
have to
same.
You have to remember,
right?
like the people making it aren't making it in order. So like when they go and like they just see like this thing and then they tell me about it. It's kind of how it sounds.
The guy writing it wrote it.
Yeah.
So it's odd.
But all the clans on Mandalore are united in this season, so we end up seeing Mandalorians with all different types of armor sets and pieces I wrote about some time ago, which you have now seen. Some Mandalorians even have stormtrooper parts. If you look close enough, there are missing armor pieces such as stormtrooper legs and so on, which you can see. That's actually happened. So once again, the only thing that hasn't actually panned out is the old crusty light skin, old crusty dark skin man. Those people should both pop up. Grogu in his IG-11 mech suit, and then IG-11 has been fucking throughout the whole fucking season. Remember, this is before we saw anything.
I thought for a second they were gonna throw that out at the end of this episode when they were showing how like the nanobots are like controlling the droids or some shit. I'm gonna be honest, I tuned much of that shit out of my head, so I don't remember exactly what she said because like this fucking dumb shit. But I was like, is this how he's gonna heal, quote unquote, IG-11? You got all these crazy droids, and then he's gonna use this whatever this is to fix this problem because he has to have that one IG-11 droid back. Like I wonder. That was like the way Favreau was going with that, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened in that scene because I be honest, man, I just
well, like, there were a lot of reshoots on Mando, and
fair enough.
I am of the opinion that the old crusty people, the old crusty men, were in the final reshoot. So I do expect that they will show up. That they will be a part of where we're going with the stuff in the next 2 episodes. Remember, there's like almost like, I don't know what the length of the episodes is, but there's anywhere between 80 minutes, probably, I mean, an hour and 2 hours worth of content coming still. Like that's what people need to remember. And they're both by the same director, which is a good thing.
Okay. Favreau loved the holiday special. And so he loves that idea of, in the holiday special, Boba Fett rides a dinosaur, right?
Yeah. They're all. So
he's just stuck with that idea of Boba Fett riding some dinosaur. Like he's gonna put that in wherever he can get the chance to do it.
Yeah,
right?
we save those fucking baby birds because I think we're gonna eventually have.
He put in the first season when Mando rides a dinosaur with the Ugnaught. Right, there's a dinosaur riding episode. In the second episode, it was the mud thing was the first season, but he didn't ride that. Well, he rode something. Did he ride something in the second season? Tamed a beast. No, didn't do it in the second season. Didn't ride.
They fought a giant dragon in the first episode.
Did he ride it? Did he ride it?
I wouldn't say
Boba Fett rode the Rancor, which counts as a dinosaur, and then the Mythosaur. So that's his deal. We can all trace our influences, and so that he's gonna find a way, come hell or high water, to put a Mando on a dinosaur every season. Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah,
he rode the blur.
Yeah. Rode the blurg. Okay, that counts. Yeah. Well, that was the first season, though, right? That he rides the blurg.
That's what I said. The first season with the Ugnaught episode, they rode a dinosaur there.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So like, I don't know. I'm not gonna go read what people are saying about me on a Reddit forum that won't let me defend myself on the Reddit forum. So that's just fuck that. But they can go read the actual article that I put out, and then they could go, you know what, Jason, if you read this article and then you see what came out this season and then you say you should just shut the fuck up. Okay, I'll just shut the fuck up then. I mean, if this isn't good enough for you, you know what I mean? Like, come on. And also, like, I gotta say too, you know, Rob hasn't even commented one time about the girth or the vibrancy and how much bigger my font is than Bestman Bulletins now. He hasn't even
Jason,
even noticed.
I just feel like Santa wants you to write in all caps. I haven't said that yet, but I just feel like that's what they're pushing you to do. They can read all caps. They're used to it. So
I think I'm gonna take it down. I think I'm gonna go down one more. But no, I mean, realistically, I do want it to read well on YouTube. That's
but
kind of
on
what
your
I'm
keyboard, you can increase the font on every page you're reading.
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
Yeah.
It's not a magazine where you're stuck with the font. It's a computer. Right. Like it's a cyber thing. It's
And then you should check out my video tomorrow. I watch your videos every day. I'll check it out tomorrow. When we get the kids up for school, take them watch it before we go.
I had Anakin write a flea dinosaur in Attack of the Clones. I did it first. So
it's true. You did do it first.
Yeah. That's the best scene in the movie, I think. Yeah. I'm proud of it.
And then As a True gives us a little bit of a thing. Yeah, the main celebration panels aren't being streamed, and that's lines up with what we were hearing. And then they said they are, and then but they're really not. They are, but they're not. So it's like who gives a fuck and shit that you're streaming what you're streaming. It's like, oh, look, I'm a presenter and I am here talking about what just happened. It was really cool. It's like, just show me what happened instead. As a True says, the live streams start around 5 a.m. Pacific time. So after the first panels. So cool.
Are we on call Friday? Is that what you were saying for this? Like, how are we covering this? Are we just going to do the show like normal? Or do we throughout the whole fucking weekend, do we have to show up? Like,
well, Rob, you could do whatever you want, but yeah,
do I?
Well, Bestman's going to be live blogging it, blogging the like panel as it happens, and then I'm going to obviously like I plan on covering that, but it is 5 a.m. my time, and so it's one of those things where I'm like, do I want to get up and start, or do I want to, and so yeah, it's sort of like I haven't decided yet, like what I want to do, but I mean, we could do the regular show that day, so if you don't want to do it early or whatever, but it could be really good. It might be dumb.
I'm for covering the main show when all the shit's really going to be announced, like at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything after the weekend, I figure is good to talk about Monday. I mean, if you feel you need to stream, I won't jump in on that. But and it's not that I don't want to. It's just like we're just going to be talking about all of it again Monday. So I don't know, to an immediate reaction for Star Wars panels. It's tough because those things aren't as informative as you'd like them to be. So you have to read into a lot of stuff. And it's like, sometimes it helps when you have the context of the entire release versus individual little snippets. Does that make any sense? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like it's like, if they, it depends on, I say always expect the minimum and expect breadcrumbs from them. They don't want to give, and like tonight, it bites them in the ass. Like if we expected the silly ass shit, we know the silly ass shit's coming. And we'd be like, I probably would have been a little bit more on board for it instead of thinking.
I was expecting it though.
Gideon. I was expecting Gideon, and they give me that. That's not cool.
But when I woke up and people were complaining, I'm like, well, they couldn't. I legitimately like, can't be. Why would people agree with me? Can't be that bad. And then the Modcal starts saying, I love you. And I'm like, oh shit. Because first they're speaking in alien. And I'm like, sounds good. You know what I mean? I mean, look, it's a little corny because they're the Muppet faces, but fine. And we're Jedi territory. I'll take it. The lighting's good. It's not overlit, right? They're playing with it. And then she's speaking basic. And I'm like, well, okay, she's appeasing Imperials. And then this whole, like, we have to tell you a love story we never see. And we like, they cliff notes the Mad Libs' love story together. And I'm like, is he telling that there's a Romeo and Juliet story going on here? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I was just like, what is going on? And then he's like, I love you. And I'm like, oh shit, son,
Yeah. No, and they're those things though on their own can be an eccentric. There could be the eccentricities can be played on screen, and then but you can't just be from one to the next and two setups of it were just boring.
People say I don't give, or were you critical? I'll give you a way you can solve this, right? You can solve this idea. You can do a whole episode about this in a 23 episode television series, right? You can do this as an episode where some bounty hunters or ex-Mandalorians or Mandalorian bounty hunters took someone's fucking loved one because they were on the run. And so the only way they can get a Mandalorian back is she decides to hire the Mando to go get him back. And that puts him and Bo in contact with her fucking former crew. You know what I mean? That she wants to lead but doesn't lead, and that puts them in. So she has to fight Mando or fight them or whatever to get the Darksaber. Which that's a subplot that, and then she also in turn rescues the guy that gives him back. That's a whole episode. That's a 23-minute, 27-minute episode you can do right there. So I don't want to hear people telling me like, Rob, what do you know? Because it's not hard. They're just not doing. They're compressing down in a way that's unrealistic for this format. And they're just throwing you this whole storyline and dialogue, and you're like, what am I even watching? This is like, what just happened here? And people, I like it. Liars. If it weren't Star Wars, you wouldn't like it. You're blinded. Okay, like it, but then just be honest when, you see it in the MCU and you don't like it. Because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And Ant-Man was filled with this. And that time we did a thing and we could have done a thing and it was like, I was a dead. I was always doing this and you were never there. Show me this. Don't tell me your daughter had all these issues. Let's experience them. Let's let the issue you have with your daughter play up to the very end and it be a problem that you want to solve, and maybe you could go back in time and make it mean something. But this fucking Disney way of shoving all this shit into fucking 5 minutes to say we covered our bases is, we see through it. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as a true, when you go to Celebration and Meg and Bespin, and anybody else who goes to Celebration and wants to come on, from the chat, you guys are welcome to come on and tell us about it. And I know before you might be like, yeah, I'm totally going to, but you might come back from Celebration exhausted and like, I need a break. So, you know what I mean? Like, which I would not blame you for. But yeah, if you're down though, we would love to, hear about this stuff. And it's going to be good though. I'm happy that we're going to have As a True, Bespin and Meg there, because we know that we'll have like people that have seen it. That's not just some rando on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like we know we know how they describe stuff and everything like that. So we'll know what they mean when they speak about.
Tell me how many frame rates Kathleen Kennedy has in person. Like, does she drop frames?
As a True needs to life cast himself and then give it to me and then let me go play the video games he gets to play early.
He could send you a life-size stand-up of him. We can just put him in the background, right?
That's true. It's like As a True's back here.
Can we get him posing like Carbonite, and I'll Photoshop Carbonite textures on him, and we can get an As a True and Carbonite for the wall? Wouldn't that be the best? Yeah.
Actually, can we just take that picture of him going down the log rides? Like that would be his Carbonite photo.
Fun show today, Jason. We drove off our fans. We did a good job. We did it.
We killed you all. All right, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow. We'll be back talking about Star Wars news and whatever's going on. And hope everybody had a good time. I hope everybody, liked the show. And if they didn't like the show, I hope you liked the next one. I do think that the way that this tends to go is in the Star Wars series is they classically gone. We get these little silly ones with these silly things that happen. And then it's because they're sort of softening what's about to go on. So I imagine that the next 2 episodes are going to be fucking cool. And people be like, yeah, okay, that's why I'm here. And so, don't go, I quit the show and all that kind of shit because you didn't like, this one especially. But I mean, but if next episode, has fucking Medea in it and like, then by all means, I understand. Okay. I will watch it and let you know if it gets good again. But until then.
Oh no. Oh no. They reanimate Divine, you're like, please don't, don't do it.
Tomorrow I plan to have a neat article. That is the plan, is to have a neat article. So we'll have something cool to talk about. So come watch the show tomorrow. Check MakingStarWars.net tomorrow for the article. And thanks everybody for supporting the channel, liking the video. You can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify as well. And you can watch the video on Spotify as well as on YouTube. So YouTube is where we do the chats. If you are listening to this on another platform and you want to participate and become a channel member, you can do that there too. So thank you, and thanks Rob, and thank you Max for trying to hang out with us today. But I think you're going to need to go to the cyber cafe like it's 1999. But anyways, bye everybody. We'll see you guys.
Cyber, Jason.
The cyber. He's
Yeah.
That guy's a cyber character. He's not real.
but it did. Bye, guys.
Tattoo, bitch.